You know, it's very annoying to say anything about an adaptation, mostly because in order to even pretend to have an opinion about it, you always have to experience the original. This will be the first thing anyone who disagrees with you will try to hook you on. Oh, you never read the original manga. Oh, you never played the original game. Oh, you never experienced the first fucking kinographic it was based upon. And when dealing with manga adaptations, aka 99.9999999999999% of anime these days, it's very easy to shut them up by saying that anime is supposed to sell me on this manga of yours. If I wasn't impressed by the anime, what makes you think I'll like the source material? With books and films, however, it's not as easy. You have a point of reference in comics, how characters look and whatnot. It's not easy to fuck that up, not the same with books and movies. And as for games, oh boy, that's another can of worms. And of course they had to show me the hardest one, this Angels of Death, or Massacre, or however the fuck, an RPG Maker game adaptation, because of course it's an RPG Maker game, what else would it be? RPG Maker games have this strange reputation of being utterly shit on a technical level, yet having massive surges in popularity for what's basically a bunch of indie games, essentially because since they usually can't impress people with graphics, they try to impress people with a sophisticated story. Well, I say sophisticated, it's mostly all the fucking same, especially if it's horror, then it's essentially an escape room with a story. There are only 4 RPG Maker games I can remember that deviate from this description: Wadanohara and the Great Blue Sea, Hello Charlotte, Lisa, and god damn it, what was the name of that game again? No matter. Joke's on you people! I've come prepared to this Walrus orgy and have done the best research I can do as a mask, and that means I watched a Let's Play, so I know how the original story went, and if you don't like this ramble, well then have a nice and productive time as far away from me as possible. Before I find where you live. Anyway, Angels of Hemorrhoids. A 12-episode anime with 4 additional ONA episodes released afterwards and made by people behind Food Wars and Nodame Cantabile. It tells us a story about a girl named Rachel who's a sociopath, a guy named Zack who's the dude all Twilight fangirls will masturbate to this Saturday evening, and a bunch of other characters you will either not care about or will care about them only in porn. She wakes up in an unknown location and now has to find her way out, only to be confronted by Zack who wants to murder her, but oh wait, the doctor wants to murder her, but oh wait, Zack murders the doctor and now she's dead inside, so he doesn't want to murder her, and so she asks Zack to kill her, but instead Zack pukes rainbows, and so they embark on a journey to kill Rachel once she learns how to human properly or drink some shokata. As you can probably tell, the plot isn't very straightforward, not in the game, not in the anime. It's more tolerable in the game, as most of the actions you do actually have some context behind them, but in the anime it's sometimes either overstretched or too short to be of any meaning. They've literally skipped like half of the game or something in 4 episodes and then just stalled as long as they could with nearly everything, even though I think that Katie's room was the weakest in the game, and the ending, well, endings are bullshit as well. There's a special place in hell for people who make last 4 episodes of the show separate from the TV release. If I've stopped watching on the 12th episode, I wouldn't even know what to say other than, well, that was fucking bullshit, because that wasn't even a cliffhanger ending. For that, it had to actually end. And as for the ONA ending, then compared to the game, it's too pretentious for its own good and doesn't have nearly as much context as it had in the game. But that being said, as an actual adaptation of the game, it's fairly decent, for better or worse. And if you liked the game, then there's not a lot of bad things I can say about it. The graphics are standard overall, but it had its issues, mainly in faces. Not sure if deliberate or not, but Rachel's face sometimes had the occasional derp, and 3D was jumping from barely noticeable to in your face for no particular reason. The music is, well, you know how I usually say something like it's non-existent? Well, here it really is basically non-existent. There are only 3 tracks that don't sound as if they were taken straight out of RPG Maker. The opening, the ending, and Katie's theme, and the latter is because I actually remember how it sounded in the game. If you care about my opinion, I think both versions are nice. But let's stop being predictable and just go into the thick of it. Compared to your average anime, this is a very unique one, from its origins to its actual plot, but the problem with it is a common one for all of these indie titles, and that it's too artsy for its own sake. It feels as if whoever wrote this script watched too much Saw and Texas Chainsaw Massacre while being covered in Bible texts breasts and high on shrooms. If you like this sort of thing, then it's probably not that bad. Apparently I'll have to watch some shit called Happy Sugar Life that's just as artsy, so I'll have to compare those two for a definite verdict. But if you don't like complicated plots or just don't like angsty teenage dramas, then this anime is most definitely not for you, as there is nothing more teenage angst than a bandaged rude man with a scythe and his pet emotionally dead lolly. For some reason I can't stop thinking about Lady Gaga while saying this.